Hey, girl.
The computer. Hi. This is gonna be fun.
I know,
Hey.
right? I'm not gonna lie. I do enjoy these because I've been, inviting all my girls on. So, because everybody's just so damn talented and just amazing that it makes it easy to be like, hey, can you come on and chat with me about like COVID-19? Like, I got a sister girl. I can come on here and lay the facts down. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. I know
Okay.
that's right.
So, welcome everybody to episode number 5 of Womanists Gone Wild. My bad for being absent the past 2 months. You know, shit happens. Life's been happening. We're in the middle of a pandemic.
Very true.
Plus, school has been, a lot and all that. So, just trying to adjust the PhD life. So, I just wanted to take some time to myself and just really adjust. With all that being said, we're back. And we got some really great discussions to be had today. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce my beautiful, just intelligent, just bomb-ass guest for today, Kemi Bolutayo Gaffney. And I'm going to read her bio. So Kemi has, she currently works as a research project coordinator at the Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. Kemi has vast experience in project management, particularly around ending cancer health disparities. She's also the host of a national Sip and Chat series where she provides the space for individuals of color to congregate and learn more about a variety of health topics. Kemi holds a health education specialist certification, a BA in psychology from Binghamton University, and an MA in health education and promotion from Lehman College. I also know you are a member of a sorority, correct? I don't know if you want to take the time to shout that out.
Sigma Gamma Rho, what's up? Yep, sorors, what's up?
I'll go ahead and give you that little time to do that.
Thank you, because I forgot to add that.
So I always like to, because I have the privilege of still being able to do that, right? I've been inviting all my homegirls on here, discussing how we met. Because I always think it's important to have these conversations because you just never know when you'll end up, when you meet someone in passing or, just whatever happens, you go to an event and just like that organic networking situation. Right. So what happened? We were both at Sloan Kettering, right? So I used to work at Memorial Sloan Kettering also where she currently works. We worked in the psych and behavioral sciences department. And
that was 10 years ago, by the way.
Was it 10 years ago?
Yes, it was.
Wow. So I've been here a long time. Okay. Yep. I didn't realize how long ago that was. That's amazing. So we just clicked working, and we were talking about the fact we're both into health disparities. I think I was working with a particular team that was doing breast cancer work in Black women, and you were working with somebody who was doing something similar, correct?
Yes. Why do I not remember this?
What was her? Red hair?
Ryan.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, she was doing breast cancer and like chemo brain work.
Yep, that's okay.
That's what it was.
Quick story about that. This is why I don't like when we discuss the fact that when people try to do research, especially particular people who are not part of the target population or priority population, they end up trying to create interventions or research projects, and they're not even including the population. So she tried to do the chemo brain work, right, with the neuro stuff on the head. And we're trying to explain to her, that's right. And we're trying to explain to her that the hair is not going to work and her incentive is going to have to figure out,
yes, remember. Because she was asking about weaves and how you put the thing in the weave.
I remember that.
And we had to school her. But she was very open and like, she got it eventually.
Okay, girl. If that's what that's good. That's what Kemi does. She's like giving everybody the benefit of the doubt.
Yep.
Okay.
You have to at some point. You're right, though.
So now I'm about to put you in the hot seat.
Okay, let's go.
Introduce to you the Naughty Nine. So what happens in the Naughty Nine, I'm going to give you 9 words or phrases, one at a time, and then I'll give you a couple seconds to tell me the first thing that comes to mind when I say that word.
Okay.
Okay?
I'm ready for this. Oh, God.
Okay.
All right.
Self-love.
Self-love. Self-care.
Knowledge.
Wisdom.
Self-pleasure.
Fun.
Okay. Lingerie.
Sexy.
Eroticism.
Ooh, not knowing a lot about it.
Okay, that's good. Fruit.
Huh?
Fruit.
Oh, fruit.
Like fruit,
Healthy.
vegetables. Fruit. What'd you say?
Healthy. Healthy.
Yeah, okay. Fetish.
Sexy.
Okay. Sunlight.
Energy.
And then body.
Loving.
Great.
That
All
was
right.
cute.
So,
That was really cute.
oh, gee, thanks. I thought that was cute. So every Women Has Gone Wild episode, I always have a topic for my 3 core. I focus on 3 main things with my brand, and that's being healthy, unabashedly provocative, and luxurious. So, Kemi, I brought you on because I know that you have been doing a lot with, is it Health in Your Color?
Yes.
And
yep.
posting information about COVID-19, and let everybody know she resides in New York City, so she's been posting a lot of information about, you know, providing accurate, credible information, resources, and all of that. So that's why I brought her on to talk about that. So I'm gonna give it to you, and if I have any questions, I'm gonna ask, because, you know, I'm sitting here in Kansas City, Missouri, trying to get the facts straight.
So that's good. You know, I know that Kansas City has probably been hit as bad as New York. And so I wanted to just talk about like how it's been affecting us, how you get it, some actual like myths versus facts, and like how it actually affects our people. So basically coronavirus is a respiratory illness, right? It's like it's under an umbrella of viruses, and it's spread through like person to person contact. So if somebody sneezes on you who has a virus, you can get it. Or if you touch a surface that the virus has that the virus is on, and you touch your face or your mouth, your eyes, anything, you can get it. That's why it's encouraged that you wash your hands all the time, or wear gloves, or use hand sanitizer that has like 60% alcohol on it. And that way you can slow the chances of you or anyone around you getting the virus. But in our community, you know, there's been so much talk lately, I would say at least in the last like 2 or 3 weeks, about how this virus has been affecting our community. And what we've seen is that Blacks, African Americans, Hispanics, we have been dying at a higher rate than everybody else. So for example, in New York here, we only make up, I think Blacks and Hispanics make up about 9% of New York City residents. But with this virus, we are dying at, I think the rate of passing away from this virus has been about 24%.
Wow.
Right? Exactly. Yes. And like in Detroit, it's the same scenario. We don't make up as much of the population, but we're dying at a higher rate. In Chicago or Illinois. So these things are affecting us a lot higher than a lot of other ethnicities and other races. And I'm sure folks know why. It's really because we have a lot of higher comorbidities. So that could be diabetes, that could be high blood pressure, that could be heart disease. And a lot, when you have a virus, those things really attack issues that you may have. So the hit to our community is much higher. So for example, I was reading this article that came out of Detroit and Michigan State University and Johns Hopkins. And, you know, our healthcare system was not ready for this pandemic at all.
You think?
So I mean, here in New York, we made the Jacob Javits Center into a hospital. Like there's a makeshift hospital in Central Park. So just the infrastructure alone, New York City wasn't ready for it. And then the infrastructure of the way we live here in New York City is the Black and brown people, how we live here. We live on top of each other. You know, the virus can spread so easily. In our communities, we had higher rates of the infection, and again, higher rates of death, according to, I mean, in comparison to other communities. So one of the articles that I actually read that came out of Johns Hopkins and Michigan State was just that sometimes our healthcare providers might actually be have an increased cause in our deaths and may not, and they don't even know it. And so in some of these cases, it's what this article mentioned was that they have implicit bias towards us. So for example, the article mentioned that a lot of us don't have a DNR, which is a do not resuscitate. And that basically means that if you are going to the hospital, you have diabetes, you have high blood pressure, the doctors might decide that because you have these comorbidities, it may, and we don't have, now remember, the hospitals did not have the structure to handle all these cases. So we don't have ventilators. We keep hearing about these ventilators, right? We don't have ventilators. And you have a white person who may not have these comorbidities, but you also have a Black person who does. Next thing you know, a Black person who has comorbidities and COVID-19, the doctors may not give you the ventilator. And it's not because they're outwardly racist or outwardly not trying to care for you, but they have to weigh out the options of who to give this ventilator to. Will they give it to somebody who doesn't have comorbidities, who will probably survive, versus a Black person who has all these issues, and if they do survive, they end up having like a poor quality of life. So it's not to say that they're doing it on purpose, but it's just to say that because implicit bias does exist in our healthcare system, these things are happening right now. And what can we do as a population, right? What can we do as a people, first of all? As Shauna said, I'm a health educator, so my first action is always to tell our people to advocate for ourselves, right? And in previous sip and chats that I've done, we talked about sexual health. We talk about fibroids in our community. All these things affect our community always at a higher rate than so many other folks. And so we are in control of our bodies first, right? So we have to advocate for ourselves. You let the doctor know where you stand, and also be prepared, right? I don't have a DNR, right? I don't have anything signed like that. I don't know a lot of Black people who have that, but now that these things are starting to come into focus, we need to be prepared so other people don't have control over our lives.
So right? the DNR you're referring to, it's just basically giving medical teams permission to give us, what do you call it, intervention,
to make a decision for, yes. They are basically allowed to make a decision for us because we don't have anything signed. So basically, if something was to happen to me and I don't want to die and I want to be put on ventilation, I have to sign a document that says, I want you to resuscitate me. I want you to put me on care. Like, don't just end my life because you think this is the best course of action. And so this is a reason why the numbers have been increasing for our community. And again, we don't know if these numbers are as accurate as the data has presented. A lot of, right, because one, a lot of people are dying at home again, and this data hasn't been calculated. Like, Corona has only been in the United States since that we know of since like March 2nd here, especially here in New York. So we don't know how many Black people have actually passed away, given the fact that we do suffer from higher comorbidities than other races and other cultures. But my advice, or what I want us to do as a culture, is just prepare ourselves, right? We do have higher rates of everything, diabetes, hypertension, heart disease. And so we have to be prepared. One way to not spread coronavirus is to stay inside. Or now in New York City, they're saying that we have to wear a mask whenever you do go outside. If you're wearing a mask, stay 6 feet away from somebody else, because you just never know. Like, we live in communities that are so packed, so full, so put together, that could be kind of hard, right? So you have to, one, you have to advocate for yourself and take care of yourself, because there's nobody else to do it for you. Right?
Yeah.
A lot of some more data has come out that it's mostly men who pass away than women, from corona. So again, like, as a backbone of our families, usually we have to let these men know, like, protect yourselves, do whatever you have to do to stay away from individuals who might have this disease or the virus as much as you possibly can. Stay home, relax, and rest. So my, like, thought is, one, as a population, do whatever we can to keep ourselves safe, right? Stay safe, be smart about it. If you get sent to the hospital, before anything happens, make sure you're fully aware of the documents that you're signing. Make sure you're fully aware of what you're signing. Let them know that you want to be resuscitated. If they can give you this paper so that you can sign it, and so you don't let them make the final decisions for your life, and you're taking control of yourself. Yeah.
That's perfect. That's perfect. One thing you were definitely talking about is that comorbidities piece. And so I'm currently in a course where we talk about, it's a health psychology course where we talk about, well, I'm always talking about Black people, and basically we're at the bottom of the totem pole, and like fill in the blank with any health issue.
Right.
And so because the medical system, like you mentioned at the beginning, was not prepared for this pandemic, it of course makes sense that we're dying the most, because it's already not helping us. It's already not, being there for us with other things going on. So of course, like, if someone's already struggling with their diabetes, if they're not, they don't have access to care, having issues with insurance, a lot of times diabetes, there's like nutrition issues, diet issues and things like that. Those systems are already not working in our favor. So it only makes sense that the rates are coming out the way they are. It's alarming. It's disheartening. It's actually been, and I think I was talking to my advisor the other day. What was today? Saturday. So like Thursday even, I was talking to her about, I just feel like it's weighing heavier on me, knowing that, I have close friends of mine who are losing their parents. And, it's hitting more and more, and you're finding out, because like I have someone who passed away because their parent had asthma, or a parent because they had like kidney issues, or someone who already had like hypertension, like they already had these issues that they were currently battling, and then it was impossible to fight
to add this on it, right?
Yeah. So it's definitely problematic. What I appreciate though, sis, is like you coming up, sharing some solutions to it. We can't always sit and feel defeated. That the other piece to it is, like you said, a lot of it is men, but it's just people, essential workers, period. Like, we can't, it's not like, like hair, people in the beauty industry who, they would love to go back to work if they could, but they're trying to, they know they can't because of the stay-at-home orders, and they also don't want to put themselves at risk. But you got people who are actually, like, who probably would not mind, it would sacrifice, struggling to be able to stay home. They don't have the options.
They don't have those options,
because, I'm saying, like, my husband's one of them. So it's just the point that and it's us that are most likely essential workers. And so those are all the factors that are into play. People are, and again, it's not people's fault. I understand I'm one of the privileged people as well, where I can go to school online or work from home and all of those, and complaining about the 5 Zoom sessions that I have to be on. Well, guess what? My fridge is full. I don't have to worry about my bills getting paid. You know what I'm saying? I think it's just kind of putting things into perspective a little bit. Also, it's like donating the best way you can. That's another thing too. So just to remind you, Kemi, and other people as well, Cupcake Noir Uncensored, that is a forum that I created where we can have basically uncensored conversations, but I've been using that platform also to continue discussions beyond this IG live. And so if you have any place that people can donate, especially in New York City or national one, that's the other issue too. We don't know which places to donate where we don't feel like we're getting scammed, or, you know, making sure it goes directly to people.
So what I have noticed actually is like our people are setting up ways to help other people. So like regular individuals, not charities. I've seen that some of my friends are like, I'll buy groceries up to $100 for certain families. You let me know about your need. Like, I have realized that our people are stepping up, because at a time like this, you can't always depend on politicians or really the politicians or anybody else, right? Like here in New York too, you know, a lot of backlash has been set on like the mayor or the governor, because they waited so long to realize that our people would be the ones who would die most from this, right? And I kind of knew this from the beginning. I was already like, well, we have a lot of issues, and this virus is so, I don't know, it's so unknown that there's no cure, no vaccination, nothing for it right now, right? And so our people are going to be the ones who were legit are like the guinea pigs. And so I know I was having a conversation with John about like, why don't we have testing in our community if we're the ones that are passing away the most, or why are they waiting so long, right? We live in a community that New York City Housing Authority, which is our public housing authority, they have the most of their employees have passed away the most from corona, and they are an essential service because they are housing and servicing some of our low income residents here in New York. But ask me, like, it wasn't until last week that testing in those communities and those housing projects just started. And it's like, we knew that this was going to happen, and they're saying like, oh, we didn't have enough testing. But there are other communities that got their testings before us, but those aren't the communities that are suffering from this disease. So it's almost like you can't depend on the politicians. You really have to be able to have a voice and speak out. One, protect yourself. Two, speak out and figure out ways that we can sort of help ourselves in this situation. And so like, I don't know. I haven't, the response from elected officials, in my opinion, hasn't been what I think it should have been from the very beginning, especially with this affecting our community the most, which we knew would happen.
Right. I think that's the problem. And I'm talking about this in that course, health psych course all the time, about the system's not broken. So it's like, that's the point, right? It's built to operate the way it is
for us.
So so the fact that it was built to put us in the positions we're in right now. So the fact that it's quote unquote a delayed response, like, is it though? You know what I'm saying? Are we always considered, you know, the least important when it comes to, like you said, offering tests? But again, we're dealing with a virus that it's already hard to deal with it just by itself. But the fact that we have other health issues that the health system's already failing us for with that, we can't be surprised that this is happening. So, you know, it becomes, you know, at some point, our community as ourselves have to stand up and figure out what that looks like. And I'm always trying to promote standing up for ourselves, like advocacy, you know, using assertive communication. I was just talking in the course about, we were talking about maternal health and just in general, like having to teach people how to speak up for themselves. And COVID-19, I mean, think about it. We're talking about, you know, pregnancy, you know, people are having children by themselves.
That's another thing.
Right. That's a whole, I know we only got an hour on here, but that's the point. Like, it's the point that people are left by themselves to fend for themselves. And so if they don't know how to become advocates, they're already screwed. And that's where we're at.
I want to touch on maternal health just because you brought it up, and I see a few of my nurses on here. Hi, JJ. I want to talk about maternal health already in New York City, and as a collective altogether around the country. Black women are suffering already from neglect when it comes to maternal health, right? And in this environment right now where coronavirus there isn't even a lot of data to support how Black women are affected right now when they sorry, I'm reading.
Yeah, I see it. No, I can read it out. Like, go ahead.
Okay, so Black women who are pregnant and who have coronavirus or are going to the hospital for their care, already maternal health in our communities is uh, something that's, you can't even imagine how many Black women are dying just for giving birth, right? Our
Oh, I
maternal
know.
health.
I can't. Yeah. I had an emotional day on Thursday, like full transparency, because the maternal health was the topic. And my professor basically asked me, like, what was my ideal childbirth situation. And I told her living through it.
Right. Can you
So,
imagine?
anyway, okay. So JJ said we're putting out a statement for healthcare providers of color to be staffed at testing centers in our neighborhood. So that's awesome.
JJ, email me this, email me that list, please, JJ, because you know I'm gonna promote it. JJ is the president of the Nursing Association here in New York City. Right, and so he is super effective at like getting out information to our community. And JJ, you just let me know and I'll post it out. So I'm just thankful, one, for all of the Black and brown nurses and doctors that we've had that's been on the they have really, really, really been like stepping up and being our voice, really, because who else do we have? We don't have anybody right now. So I'm like so super thankful for all the Black doctors and Black nurses, Latino, everybody. I salute them for their hard work, just going on the front lines every day, doing
all day.
All day. I appreciate them so much, like more than y'all can even imagine.
Absolutely. I second everything you just said, Kemi. Thank you so much to everybody who's out in the front lines. Like, and that's not even just in like medical care, like all the essential workers, especially. Okay, so I wanted to switch gears a little bit.
We get into the sexy part now?
Kinda. We're still on COVID. We're still on COVID, but it's like being sexy and healthy during COVID. So that's like a way to transition from that. So yeah, New York City, period, when it comes to their Department of Health, I always think that they're like creme de la creme when it comes to putting out information, especially when I was doing HIV prevention work. I would always look to their sexual health work on how to guide me on where I should go in my efforts. So this is no different when, of course, they led the way when they shared something at the end of March, a document explaining how to be healthy and still have, you know, pleasure during with sex during COVID-19. So I'm going to read what they shared. So the first thing they're saying is basically you need to know how COVID-19 spreads. So Kemi's already shared that, but the main piece is they know for sure that it spread through feces and saliva. They're still trying to figure out if it's being spread through semen and vaginal fluid. So with that being said, they're basically just saying like stay away from sex or kissing that involves saliva. And I'm gonna go into detail specifically. So the first way to be safe is to have sex with yourself. Next month is International or National, whatever, Masturbation Month. And so I just wanted to plug that because they're basically saying that's the one surefire way that you can't spread COVID-19, especially if you wash your hands and any sex toys with soap and water for at least 20 seconds before and after sex. I do, quick shameless plug, I released a seasonal cupcake cleanse where I'm always promoting, especially doing it at least to be mindful of it seasonally, where you're washing your sex toys, you know, just staying up to par. If you feel like there's something you need to throw away and replace, please replace that. And then they said the next safest partner is someone you live with. So having close contact, including sex with only a small circle of people, helps prevent spreading COVID-19. Have sex only with consenting partners. You should avoid close contact, including sex with someone outside, with anyone outside your household. So if you do have sex with others, have a few partners as possible. If you usually meet your sex partners online or make a living by having sex, consider taking a break from in-person dates. So video dates, sexting, or chat rooms may be options for you. I have to say I really enjoyed this part of their document because one, you know, they're acknowledging the fact that that's the type of sex that people are having. And so, you know, they're trying to just tell you to be creative. So I've seen some influencers are talking about like, oh, I'm dressed up cute today. I have like an online date,
date,
Zoom or something. Or some other sex educators are posting cute ways on how to send, you know, sexting stuff, send nudes, this and the third. And then also pushing like the whole sex tech industry, which I'll get into a little bit later. You know, signing up for chat rooms or anything you want to do so you don't feel like you're not being able to engage in sexual activity. Take care during sex. So kissing can easily pass COVID-19, so avoid kissing anyone who's not part of your small circle of close contacts. So rimming is off the table, so that's when your mouth is on the anus, because that might spread COVID-19 due to feces. That also means, you know, like anal sex. Trying to use condoms and dental dams to reduce contact with saliva and feces, and then washing up before and after sex is more important than ever. So that means washing hands often between with soap and water for at least 20 seconds, you know, washing your genitals, and then your sex toys with soap and warm water. Disinfect keyboards and touch screens that you share with others for video chat, for watching porn, or for anything else. Skip sex if you or your partner's not feeling well. So if you or a partner may have COVID-19, obviously avoid sex, especially kissing. If you start to feel unwell, you may be about to develop symptoms of COVID-19, which include fever, cough, sore throat, or shortness of breath.
And fatigue too.
Yep. If you or your partner has a medical condition that can lead to more severe COVID-19, you may also want to skip sex. So medical conditions, including like lung disease, heart disease, diabetes, the comorbidities we've been talking
that we mentioned before, yeah.
The other main comorbidity is also definitely HIV as well, or anybody with unsuppressed immune systems, especially if you're living with HIV and you are not undetectable, you have a low CD4 count, you know, what your white blood cells. And also, even though we are in a pandemic, you still want to prevent like HIV, other STIs, and unplanned pregnancies. So if you are like on birth control like myself, like trying to make sure that you are staying on top of your prescriptions. If you need to have the stuff sent to you, do what you got to do. Stocking up on condoms and things like that. So I actually sat in on my local prevention committee meeting last week, and we talked about, I was asking about their prevention efforts, like how's that changed? And I mean, condom distribution, they usually would drop off a certain number of condoms to all of their sites, but a lot of sites are closed.
So they're not doing that now?
They're doing it very like by request. So like if you, because for me, like when I was in the field before I started school, I was with the beauty industry. So all the places are closed. So people would typically be able to stop by salons, barbershops, and get their condoms. You could get them like mailed to you, I guess, if you wanted, or you could definitely go to your health departments. I know that they're open. Federally qualified health centers for sure are still open because they have to still provide like general care, and they typically should still have, hopefully, if they had like a sexual health clinic within,
can you get condoms mailed to you, like Amazon or anything like that?
Here in Casey, that's what they were kind of offering. I think that's a little pricey considering the time right now. But I think the discussion is just like by request. If there's a place or people that are like, I desperately need some, that, you know, you can just contact them and they'll find the best way to do it. But bottom line, even if you enter a health department or a hospital FQHC, they you know, check your temperature and put you through a screening anyway before you enter the building. So if you actually need to go, that's what you do. Even with STI testing, I mean, they're still offering it like if it's like dire, I guess. So it's like, this is a crucial time to have healthy sex because they may not be able to provide you with the resources that you absolutely are used to.
Right.
Especially when it comes to PrEP, which is that pill you can take once a day if you're HIV negative. They're actually more concerned if you're already not on PrEP, because what they can just mail you your prescription. It might be difficult to try to sign up for PrEP now, versus if you need PEP, which is the emergency pill dosage. That's an emergency situation, so they would deal with that, obviously. But anything that's kind of like can wait, is what, non-emergency is what they're pretty much saying if you could hold off. So this is why the list I just read is crucial, because it may prevent you from getting the care that you desperately need. If you have like the STIs, the symptoms that are just like overt, like if any, dripping and
right, all that stuff.
all that unpleasant stuff, then obviously that's still emergency setting. So just don't forget about that. But I'm just saying, thank you, New York City Department of Health, for this. Because
so what I like about this discussion is that you kind of forget, like, we're stuck in our homes and like life is still going on, right? And so you kind of forget, like, you're still a person, you still have needs, you still want to feel good, you want that pleasure. And like, just because COVID is happening doesn't mean that you can't find pleasure in yourself. And I really like your 9, what'd you call it, 9 for 9?
Naughty 9.
Naughty 9. Like, it just sort of makes you think, like, I could still pleasure myself, or I could still feel good. And even if I can't do it with a partner, even if we're still going through these things, and it is a form of self-care. Like, folks are meditating, they're praying, they have their candles on. And so everybody is just in this kind of, it's a weird space to be in, and pleasuring yourself is not a bad thing. Like, do it as much as you can. It's healthy. It's just for you. Ain't nobody bothering you. Don't nobody got to know about it. It's all like, if you want people to know about it, let them know. But I love the fact that you're using your platform to let everybody sort of, still be, you can do the things that you were doing before, and like still make yourself feel sexy and still make yourself feel good while we're stuck in this very strange, like, space that we're in right now.
Oh, I appreciate that. I really do appreciate it. Because you have to be, I'm just, first of all, like, Cupcake Noir is a platform that was made for me to be able to express my own sexual journey. Even if I don't share my own personal stories every day, the content that I put out, the topics that I want to focus on, the things that are near and dear to me, maybe something that I experienced or something that came across my path, and I felt like if it changed me, I want to be able to share it out loud.
For other people.
The other thing I thought was cool, which I'm gonna end up shouting her out in the next topic when we talk about being luxurious, my girl Sarah, we had a discussion on her live, and I know my girl Madison had a discussion with her too about how to stay sexy with your partners during this quarantine time. So I know that both of them are married like myself and like you, and it's like trying to decipher, are you living with your partner? Are both of you quarantined? Are both of you apart, like outside of even, where you can't visit each other? Are one of you, like in my case, an essential worker, and then having to navigate that, like, so, making sure that when he comes in the door, he's healthy, that type of thing. So we would feel comfortable having sex with each other. So having to discuss all those dynamics that you never had to do before, but it's also doing it in a way on how to be creative.
Right.
Because I know that they were discussing like how to, like, for example, I know you and John are quarantined together, correct? So like how to be creative and keep it spicy and do all that while you're quarantined together. So like the date night stuff, typically you would go out. I know my husband and I would typically go out, but now it's like, we can't.
But now it's movie nights. Like, we'll do the candles and we'll do movie nights.
They had a whole thing about that, and so it just brought that to light to say that's a form of self-care. I know these people's relationships, partnerships are, on the brink because of COVID-19, like the fact that they have to be together and address their issue that they typically would avoid. So I thought, anyway, so I just wanted to talk about that. Appreciate you 110%. So the last thing I wanted to talk about, as far as my three key topics, especially being luxurious, I wanted to talk about the fact yesterday was National Lingerie Day. So I wanted to shout out some bomb Black female-owned companies. So that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah. So the first one is obviously Savage Fenty. I actually posted a picture yesterday in one of their robes. I've been like really into robes. like really into them, especially now that I'm at home.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, I don't feel like putting on sweat. So I was like, well, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and just shower and this time put on a robe and just flaunt around in that.
Right.
So anyway, that's the post. That's the picture I posted yesterday.
That was
So
cute too. That was a cute robe.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, Savage Fenty has some dope robes. That's where I got that one. So, I mean, enough said. Savage Fenty.
And I love Savage Fenty because she has things in all sizes.
Yes.
That is so amazing.
Yes. So the other thing, the next two do also. So that's why I really love them. My girl, Sarah Watson, based out of Detroit, her company, Breakfast at 6. So, and I'm going to post these websites in the Cupcake Noir.
Good. I was about to be like, are you going to send us stuff, please?
Yes. I always do that and then force people to join the forum because that's the only way to get the information. Sorry, not sorry.
Breakfast at 6.
So my girl Sarah, when you go to her page, it's like breakfast at and the number 6.com. She said that she created this brand to better serve women who have long been disappointed in the big name stores when they failed to best support the women who flock to them for what should be a memorable shopping experience. And again, like I said, it's a made-to-order company, and she has some really dope pieces. I think she's coming out with a line soon, and I believe, according to her site, she might be coming out with a monthly subscription. So I'm like all on board for my girl. I love her so much. She was one of my guests, well, my second guest maybe, on Womanists Gone Wild. So shout out to Sarah. And then
she has some cute stuff on her website, guys. Sorry, I'm looking at it right now.
I know. And then there's Love Vera. They're a Black female-owned company as well. And what I love about her work, I mean, her stuff is like breaking the internet. Every time you see, it's usually like a group of bomb-ass Black women together in a shot, and then like it just gets shared all over the internet. So usually, I'm sure everyone could have possibly seen it at this point. But she said her approach is, we proudly hire Black talent to increase representation in fashion. That said, we are inclusive and work with people from many different backgrounds, gathering diversity of perspectives to put forth the best product. We hire Black models, afros and braids are welcome, brown skin is celebrated alongside red hair and freckles. Our beauty comes in unlimited shapes and sizes. So that's, hers is lovevera.com, LOVEVERA. So I wanted to just basically shout them out. I think it's just at this point, if you're able to, this is the time to support small businesses, Black-owned businesses, Black women-owned businesses, and just that can help with relationships or with yourself. Just a cute way to be luxurious if you're able to, no pressure. But in my seasonal cupcake cleanse guide, I'm always talking about every season, checking in because we enter spring. So if you've got some lingerie you think it's ready to throw out, it's time to get rid of it, or you don't fit it anymore, just embrace the new body you're in the best way you can. We're going to be in our homes for a little bit. And I just think it's worth just kind of, vamping up your closet in that way. Yeah. Okay.
She has some cute stuff too, guys. I'm on her website too, Love Vera. It's
bomb. It's bomb stuff where it's like, damn, I need to yeah, it's amazing.
And all women of different sizes too. So this is really good, and I really like the inclusion. All right, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So last convo, sis. So the last topic is my hot topic. So you typically, by the time Cupcake Noir comes around, some shit has happened. And so I always want to pick something that I thought would be kind of cool to talk about on here.
Okay.
Well, this time I want to talk about the OnlyFans page stuff. Do you know OnlyFans? You've heard of OnlyFans?
Yeah.
Okay. So for people who don't know, OnlyFans is basically like a paid subscription social media platform that a lot of people in sex tech actually use. So I follow quite a bit of women in sex tech, especially my girl. Shout out to Sex Noir, Elise from Sex Noir, where that's her platform. She talks about that a lot. She's always promoting, respect and, just credit for the work that they're doing, in sex tech. And it's funny now that some of them are online saying they're getting so many DMs and private messages about like, hey, sis, can you give me some tips on how to be on OnlyFans? Because now, they're probably unemployed. They're trying to make some money. And now it's cool to be in sex work now. because you're broke.
Oh.
Right? So now it's okay.
Wow. People are
Isn't that
shady.
interesting? So they've been calling people out like, oh, now it's cool to be a
Now,
sex
right.
worker. So
People are shady.
digitally, because it's safer that way. But the other thing is, have you seen somebody's OnlyFans, what do you call it, account?
Mm-hmm.
Like a screenshot of their account has been spread where they've made over $125,000. Like they just kind of shared there, and it's broken down by week, I guess, or month, and by.
So what did they share? They shared what?
So like they basically shared how much money they're making on OnlyFans.
Oh wow.
And that page has been spreading everywhere where people are like, oh shit, like maybe I need to be going on here and dabbing
right.
something. Which is cool because then it's like, great, people are starting to embrace the fact that sex work is, it like, should be
work considered.
First of all, work. It should be legalized. It should be respected. But also it's like, don't try to come on here now when we're all kind of struggling, and now you kind of messing up my game.
Messing up the game. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So anyway,
wow, that's so crazy. That's so crazy. Yeah. Like, I guess people are just trying to figure things out, but don't be like this is gonna be crazy to say, but don't be like those kind of like Trump voters who are like, I'm not voting for Trump, and then next thing you know, this man has won. Don't be like that. Be upfront. Like, be upfront. If don't knock sex workers and then go on their website and then try to steal all the thunder when this is their way of making money. Like, don't do that. That's whack. That's not cool.
That is what's happening. So so seeing it on the side where it's like pop culture, and then knowing that,
right.
Like I'm in that circle of of seeing women who in their day-to-day lives,
right.
Like they might put a little something on Instagram, and then they'll, lead you to the OnlyFans, and they put on some really dope content. I mean, I know there's like couples even that consider like going on to OnlyFans just to kind of spice up their stuff. I'm sure there's other content on OnlyFans, and there's like, fetishes and things like that. Like, some people don't have to always be naked and things like that, but that's the point. Like, there's all types of levels of sex work that people don't understand that. I am going to shout out, though, there is a Women of Sex Tech virtual conference that I actually signed up for because I just want to learn more about it. It might be some work I want to do in the future for my dissertation work, so we'll see. But it's just worth learning about it before you knock it. Like, you can't
exactly.
Now you're trying to get a crash course,
on their
because you need your bills paid. It's wrong. If we're going to embrace Black sexuality, I'm kind of getting like attached to this phrase I'm coining called Black erotic futurism, or like erotic Afrofuturism. And the point is, like, we have to think about what the future of Black sexuality looks like. And it means embracing eroticism that includes from people who want to be celibate or practice abstinence, and embracing that part of their eroticism, to the other end of the spectrum where they want to take, monetize off of their sexuality, but trying to do it in a safe, consensual, like respectful way. Like, we should be able to support them. And then you have people like in the middle, in between those. So that's kind of where my head's at. And I just wanted to let that be the hot topic. I just really didn't know, I did not realize how much money that was spent on there. Did I sit up here and be like, maybe if I did
you should do it
yesterday, maybe I could do a little something more, throw a little more thigh in there. But I'm like, leave that to the people who are the professionals. That's what they do.
Exactly, because they need the money right now too.
Hell, some of them could just go ahead and just do damn master classes. Charge for the master class. Show people how to set up their OnlyFans. Show them how to do the whole process.
And make money right off of that. Yep. Make some money right off of that.
It is crazy. I mean, it was just funny seeing them on their pages being like, really? Stay out of my DMs. Asking me how to be successful on
how to be successful on Like, that's not cool. Like, that is not cool. Figure something else out. There's so many ways you could be an entrepreneur right now. You don't knock their hustle. You know what I
Nope.
mean? Like, figure something else out. Everybody is making masks or driving something, Uber Eats, something. I don't know. Like,
not right, exactly.
like,
But instead, they want to put a mask on and nothing else because they think that's something cute.
right.
Because that's what they're trying to do. Anyway, that's all I wanted to chat on that one because I'm not trying to knock nobody's hustle. I know people are out here trying to survive. Again, I acknowledge the fact that I'm not in that situation, but at the same time, I just know that there's so much stigma around sex work in our community that it's just interesting now that because it took a damn pandemic for a group of individuals, professionals to be respected, and that's a problem. That's all I pretty much wanted to bring up with that hot topic.
And with that too, I want to say like, it takes this pandemic to realize, not even realize because we've already known this, but to put out in the forefront how racist our country is or how discriminatory our country is. For lack of better words, really how racist our country is, especially to low income, to just Black and brown people. So, you know, I hope that Sean and I have been able to voice a way for us to save ourselves, advocate for ourselves, do what you got to do for yourselves. Because at the end of the day, you got to care for your own body. You know, we can't always depend on everybody else to help us out. So we got to do what we got to do.
Do it ourselves.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do you have any last words before we wrap up today's Womanists Gone Wild episode? No, you're good.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate this.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is not your last time for sure. No, also, Kemi actually, what was that, last year, did a really great blog post about fibroids on my blog. And she's definitely, I'm inviting her to definitely post a lot more for Cupcake Noir. I just think it's important to, because we can always tie in so many other health issues with sexual health, pleasure, sexual health and wellness. So, you know, I invite everybody to look at that. But lastly, please make sure you look at, go to my link in bio and join Cupcake Noir Uncensored, because then we can continue any conversations that we had here. I'm going to share the websites of the lingerie companies. Kemi's going to share some resources if you want to help out in any way. We just kind of keep going with the conversation. If anybody wants any tips on how to keep it sexy and healthy, you know, that you didn't feel like sharing on here, use that forum for that. It's a safe space. I vet people when they come through there, so it's not even like that at all. It's not, you know, a bunch of weirdos in there, disrespectful people. I don't have that. So on that note.
Oh, one last thing. I'm a part of Health in Your Color. Health in Your Color is an organization that provides access to healthcare for Black and brown people in New York City. I do sip and chats all over the country, me as just a as an individual. So if there's any topics that you feel like affect our community and you want me to come to your area, come to your state, let me know. I'm always down. I love traveling and I'm good. And, you know, highlighting the issues that really affect our community and providing ways that we can combat those issues. So follow me on Kemi Lala too. Follow Health in Your Color. If there's anything that you want us to highlight, let me know. And you know, we'll bring it to the forefront. Thank you, Shauna, for having me. I appreciate it, girl.
All right. Of course. Thank you so much again, sis. We will talk soon. I love you.
Love you too, girl.
Tell my house brother I said hello. I know he's not far behind. Not far from there because y'all quarantine. All right. Love y'all. And peace out, everybody. See you soon.